We finally reached this tipping point in the last few years where technology has been able to get small enough and cheap enough to be able to give us the robotic revolution. Because it isn't these days. It used to be that vision that in the 1950s we thought we'd have walking robots and servants in our houses every day. And the reality set in that that doesn't work. You have to have them being purpose-built. We can never do them purpose-built on a small scale. And so in the last 10 years we've got this massive influx of them because we can build them cheaply enough and inexpensively enough to have purpose-built smart devices. Myself, I'm a cognitive scientist. I work in the field of cyber psychology and behavioral cybersecurity. My interest is in the way that we interact with technology and the way that technology changes us and our behaviors. So now having these smart devices in people's houses and looking at the way that we're changing our own lives and changing our own habits as a result of these smart devices, and for the good and for the bad, is what my personal field. These smart technologies for people in all ages and in all groups. Vulnerable populations, young children and older adults, we can use them in educational purposes for children, but they frequently get used for also entertainment-only purposes. As any busy parent will tell you, it's a lot easier to stick a screen in front of a small child and let that babysit them for a half an hour. And that can be for good and bad again. Amongst older adults, it's that ability to have smart devices that can keep them safe. That, you know, if you've got an elderly parent living alone at home, you want to know if something occurs, if there's been a fall or something along those lines. Like I said, it can always be good and for bad. The reality is all these educational apps, etc., they tend to not be as educational as we want them to be, or as beneficial as we want them to be. With everything else with children, it's about moderation. It's about letting them use it, and it can be, I mean, everyone needs entertainment in their lives, even if those educational apps are really just entertainment, it's still fun for children, so long as it's kept in moderation, and that's the most important message. I don't think it's a question which one's best. I think they're both best in different scenarios. When you've got your, what we call school leavers in Australia, so 18-year-olds finishing up high school, they don't tend to want to have an online education. Some of them do, but they tend to want to have that university experience and that ability to interact with people of their own age, still learning the same experiences and doing the same things, talk with academics, do projects that are hands-on, and the kinds of things that are difficult to do online. On the other hand, education is fortunately expanding rapidly, and it's no longer just about school leavers or 18-year-olds finishing up high school. There's a lot of single moms, working parents, people who live in remote communities who want to do university study, and online education is the only option for them, and it's to do it well or to do it poorly would be a disservice to them. And it can be done well, and it should be done well. And there's all kinds of research on what makes a good online learning education. And so long as those are followed, it's an excellent opportunity and the best opportunity for people in those scenarios, whether it's somebody living in a rural community without access to a university or a working parent who just doesn't have the time to actually go to campus every day. You know, the technologies might change that one day with virtual realities coming around as a way to create that similar context of being face-to-face for group learning. But until it does, it's a struggle point. But that's, again, one of the reasons why online learning is so beneficial for a specific group, because it's still the best option if you can't make it to campus every day. My recommendation is when you're looking at developing products or working within companies developing products, it's not just a question of what can we get the technology to do, it's how are people going to use it. And how are people going to misuse it, and how is it going to change them, which can open up even more opportunities for profit, because if it changes them and their behavior, it can opens up another venue to sell them something else. But if it does so in a negative way, or has the propensity for people to feel like they've been taken advantage of by technology, that's what can lead to a rapid removal of a product from the market.